Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm here with another board game review, and today I'll be telling you that why you should play Shards of Infinity. Shards of Infinity is a small box deck building game, and even though it's meant to be 2 to 4 player, but my ideal way of playing it is, or recommended is, a 2 player head-to-head card battle game, but it is a deck building game in the same vein as Star Realms or Hero Realms. So if you have played any of those 2 games, then this game is going to feel very familiar because the mechanics are very much the same, only with few differences. It does a few things differently, and even if you have not played, I'll try to explain some of the rules, some of the differences. So even if you're not familiar, you will be, by the end of this review, you will be familiar with this, and I will be telling you my opinion that which one might be better for you in case you're looking for an easy and quick deck building game. In case you don't even know what's a deck building game, normally how a deck building game works is that each of the players, so for example, in this case, I have set up the game for 2 players. Each of the player are going to get one of their character sheets in which we have 2 dials. The first top dial is to actually keep status of the health of the player, and the bottom one is for the mastery or experience of the player. Each player is going to get one of these, and of course the game comes with enough material for 4 players to play together in a battle mode, team mode. Different modes are there, but as I said, I'll be explaining the rules just for 2 players, and same can be then enhanced for other players as well. Each player is going to start with a standard deck of cards as well, which is going to be same for each player. There is no asymmetry for any of the players, even though you might be getting different character boards, but they don't do anything different. They don't have any special powers. There is a separate expansion that which makes them slightly asymmetrical, but the default game box, Shards of Infinity, is going to be a very symmetrical game, at least in the start when you start the game. So both of the players are going to have some standard cards. How the deck building mechanic works, that each time that you have your deck of cards, you will be shuffling them, taking fixed number of cards. So for example, in this case, 5 cards, and then using those cards, you will be taking some actions. For example, right now I have these crystals right now in my hand, and using the crystals, there is a market row from where I can buy better cards which will get added to my deck. So for example, I have 5 crystals, and using 5 crystals, these cards will have a cost on top of them with a crystal symbol and a cost, and I will be selecting that which card I want to buy. Again, each card is going to give different abilities. The default cards that come in the deck are not very powerful. So you will put these in the discard pile, and then based on how much you're going to spend, you can buy any card of that or lesser value, anything that is above that value. So for example, if you had 5 crystals and I decide to buy a 4 level card, then the remaining 1 crystal goes to waste, and this will go into my discard pile. Then on my next turn, other player will go, I will go, then I'll pick up my next 5 cards, again do the same thing, pick some cards up, buy some cards, put them in my deck, and once my cards run out of the draw pile, then I'll be shuffling all my discard piles. So anything that I had bought previously will get shuffled, and now I have the probability or the chance that these cards are going to come back to me. And that's how deck building mechanic works, that you are selecting how you're going to make your unique deck, and that's when the decks of different players are going to become customized. And the more one type of card you concentrate on, the more your deck will be customized for performing that kind of action. Or you can dilute your deck by having a variety of cards as well. Now, what are the different type of cards that you will get to buy. There are mainly four factions that are represented in this game, which are represented by different four colors. So for example, the blue cards are mostly, these are tech side class, and mostly these cards are related to gaining mastery or gaining additional cards. So majority of these cards will give you those kind of abilities. Then we will have these brownish yellowish kind of cards called Homodius, and they concentrate in guardians and champions kind of cards as well. So they are good at for providing protection against enemy attacks. Whereas the purple ones are exactly the opposite. They are the wrath cards, and they have the speciality of doing high potential damage to other players. So when I play this card, whatever is the text, that will get applied to the other player. So if it has a damage icon, that's how much damage this character is going to do to the other players. Then the green ones are more nature specific nation, and they have healing abilities. Now these four, even though that's the broad definition of what kind of cards, but each card is going to be unique. Each card is going to have different kind of criterias, values, different abilities. Some have situational abilities which you get to activate only if you have activated X, you will get to activate Y. And that's why you will be concentrating on building a deck that actually has some kind of potential to actually be homogeneous with each other and not just have a random diluted deck. So for example, if I try to concentrate on purple cards, that is go for high damage, then that does mean that I will have less defense or healing cards as well, which means the enemy that will be attacking me will have a high chance to kill me before I'm done with it. So I might have to change my strategy or go for really high damage that before they kill me, I'm able to kill them. And that's how the game works. You will be playing cards, taking the effect of the card, whatever is written on it, and that's how the game works. So for example, let's take few examples of cards that what do they do. So for example, if I play this card, once it's in my deck and I get to play it, it says draw a card. So not only, so I will always start with 5 cards in my hand. So let's say this card was one of those and I played this. It lets me draw an additional card. So not only my hand or options of cards increase, but it also says if I have more mastery than other players, then I will get additional crystals as well to purchase more things. So that's a good thing. Similarly, this one is a champion. What do the champions do? Once you play a card, those cards will go away. They only apply their effect for that round and then they go to the discard pile. But the champion cards are special cards which once you play, they will remain in your active area and you will keep getting new cards, but these champions will remain. These champions come with their own health as well. So when an enemy attacks, if the attack value is less than this, then the champion is going to defend and stop that damage from getting to me. But only if the damage is higher than the champion's value, then first the champion will get defeated. It will go to discard pile and then I will get the damage and I will change the dial value to indicate how much health I have left. Plus, there are always going to be combos that you can make by matching the colors of the cards as well. And that's why making a more homogeneous or interlinked deck is better as well. So for example, this card says that if I had played another Homodius champion during this turn, then they will attack as well. And that's going to be a good thing. So the more I invest in one of type of cards, it's going to actually increase the power or abilities that the same card can do. Purple card is going to say this champion cannot be attacked with the damage. So this, even though its health is 1, but this champion doesn't die with normal attacks. So you will have to play a specialized kind of attack which discards a champion, and only then this champion will go away. So it's a very powerful card. And it has a 1 attack. So each turn, because it's a champion, it will stay on your board. Each turn this card is going to do 1 damage to your enemies. It's not much, but when you consider that this champion is going to remain active for a very long time, it piles up to be a lot. Whereas this card is going to give you directly 4 healing ability, so you can heal quickly. And in this way, there are many other cards in this deck that are going to keep coming. As you keep buying new cards from it, new cards will keep coming up with new and new abilities. People will keep getting cards and then keep attacking each other using the attack symbol on the cards. Now, one thing that I didn't discuss till now is the mastery symbol. This is slightly unique, which is not available in other deck building games like Hero Realms or Star Realms. Mastery is essentially experience. So whenever you are, there will be different cards that let you gain experience. Plus, what you can do is that you can always pay 1 crystal to increase 1 mastery per round. And that can be very good because many of these cards, especially the cards that you start with, are going to generate different kind of things based upon what experience level you have. So for example, the Shard Reactor, it is one of the base starting cards. By default, it gives 2 crystal value. But if this Shard Reactor, if my mastery is 5, then I can gain 3 crystals from it. And if I have mastery of 15, then I can get 4 crystals from it. A more powerful thing in my default deck is the Infinity Shard, which lets me deal a whole amount of damage to other players. By default, it only gives a damage of 2, but if my mastery is 10, then the damage increased to 3. If my mastery is 20, then the damage increased to 5. But if it is 30, I can do infinite damage. So these Infinity Stones can really have very powerful effect as long as I can get my mastery to a high level. And these don't apply just to your starting cards, these apply to many other cards. So for example, even a card in the market row, by default it lets you gain a mastery, but if I had a mastery of 10 already, then it lets me draw an additional card as well. And that's going to be one of the things that you get to do in the game, that you are going to slowly become more and more, or your deck is going to slowly become more and more powerful as you increase your mastery. As you improve your deck, you will have better attack cards, you will have better healing cards in your deck, and you are trying to judge the situation and see what investment the other players are doing in your deck and how do you counter it. If one player has highly invested in maybe damage, maybe I need to invest in protection cards so that whenever they damage, my champions are there and they protect me and their turns go to waste. And that's the kind of thinking that will be going on during this game itself. Now, those who have played Hero Realms or Star Realms will start thinking, well, up till now this seems very familiar, and yes, it's very familiar. In Hero Realms, now coming to a little bit of comparison, Hero Realms or Star Realms, whenever you have 2 cards of the same color, they will have circles or colors, orbs, symbols on them. They will always activate each other. Here, there is a specific text called unify. Only when that word is available, then something else happens as well. It's on majority of the cards, but there are cards on which that text is not available. So in case you have played a card previously, and that's why sequence of play will be important as well, that if something does not have a unified text, maybe play that first and then play another card which lets you unify, because you have already played a green card. Now it lets you utilize better abilities because you have already played a green card. So there are cards in here which let you combo with each other, but in my opinion, or at least that's how I felt, it's less than what I have seen in Hero Realms or Star Realms. The second main difference, and that difference is actually a positive, is the ally function in this one. How the allies work, or the mercenary function, I should say. The mercenary function works for allies, and how that works, that for example, some of these cards are going to have a red border around them, even though the card itself is green. For example, this card is blue, but they have a red border and it is written mercenary in red on them. What do mercenaries do? As the name indicate, they are a temporary hired resource that will come, that will support you, and then they will go away. And that is a very, I think, good mechanism that more and more deck building games need to adopt. Because what normally happens in deck building games is that your initial phase or first half of the game is always going to be more concentrated about getting more value, more crystals, more coin, whatever is the currency of the deck building game, and using those to build up a good deck. Then your later half, or at least the last quarter of the game, you are not interested in getting cards anymore. Instead, you're interested in just fighting, because you know whatever card you're buying right now, you will never get to see it again. Your deck is already big enough that you will never see that new powerful card anymore again. And that's what this game fixes with the mercenary function, that it still makes your money card or crystal cards still useful later down the game. How? So for example, let's say this card has a crystal value of 6, so I need 6 to purchase it. If I'm closer to the end of the game, instead of buying this and never seeing it again, what I can do is use mercenary action on it. What does mercenary action do is, I will still have to pay its full amount. 6, this card comes to me, but immediately takes effect. So whatever is the text written on it, so for example, draw 2 cards. I'll immediately draw 2 cards from my deck and use them as well. As well as there is some additional text on it, I'll get to apply that as well. So I immediately get to, I don't have to wait for it to be shuffled back, have the probability of coming it back again. I will immediately get to use its ability if I'm using its mercenary function. Whatever is the text, I will immediately use it by paying its full cost. But once I've used it, it will be immediately discarded to the bottom of the market pile. So it never comes to my deck. It is a permanent, it's only a temporary usage, and then it will go to the market pile again for in future to come. Maybe you will never see the bottom of this deck, but still, it will never come to me. And that's a very good thing. Sometimes, even within not just the end half, even during the middle of the game, I really want to utilize the unify ability, that is the combo effects of card. But maybe I have a very good green card, but I don't have another green in my hand right now to make that action work. Rather than that, I can pay for a green mercenary from the market row. So this gets activated, and then play my green card, and its combo effect worked because I had already played a mercenary as a green, and that still works. So that let me work the combo as well. In this way, the mercenary action is, I think, the very unique thing that this game has introduced, which I'm in love with. And I really wish that other games take that mechanism to heart as well, because now your money cards, which used to be kind of wasted near the end of the game, were getting wasted. Now they become more useful. And that's the biggest difference, in my opinion, from this game to your regular Hero Realms or star realms. So the three differences that I explained: mastery, a plus point; slightly bad thing, less combos in between the cards. But the biggest plus point is a mercenary function that you get to use. Plus, the theme, well, this is a more tech based theme, more science fiction based theme. So, in case you're looking for something in between Hero Realms, which is pure fantasy, and Star Realms, which is pure space opera, something in between, which is science fantasy, then this might be the right theme for you. And hopefully that gives you an idea if this game is going to be right for you. Personally, I still love Hero Realms more. Uh, and maybe it's because I played that one before. I love more thematic sense of its card. Do think that its cards were more thematically accurate about their abilities, but still, uh, I do miss the mercenary function in this one. And I do hope, well, they should just plagiarize or copy that function in Hero Realms, and because then it will become the most awesome one. Still, if you like this theme, if you are done with fantasy theme, then or want better health tracking, because Hero Realms or Star Realms, you know that they just have cards, or you can use your own counters to track the health. You need better dials. Then, of course, this comes as a better package of a game than Hero Realms. So, hopefully, that gives you an idea if this game is going to be right for you or not. I It is a very good game by itself. If you have never played Hero Realms or Star Realms, then if you buy this package, the deck of cards is good enough to have enough replayability. You will see a lot of variety of cards. Of course, many of the cards are repeated over and over, and you need that because maybe you need a particular set of cards that you want to build in your deck. But still, there is enough variety in this small box game for you to enjoy. It's nowhere closer to the scale of big deck building games like Dominion or something. But if you need a quick deck building card battle game, then Shards of Infinity is a very good choice. That's it for me. Hopefully, this was useful for you. And if you thought this was useful, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. And in the comments, don't forget to mention which one of these three games is your preferred deck building game. That's it for me. Happy gaming.